Harry, we have another 10 minutes on the show. And here's what I would want you to help us with. There's a paradox, Harry, in terms of going forward into tomorrow, because while the PNP is calling national attention to housing accountability, there are still unanswered questions surrounding their own post-Melissa fundraising efforts. The PNP launched a website. They collected money on behalf of some of these very people. And to this day, we don't know how much was collected, how much was distributed, and who benefited. These are questions that should be asked of the PNP tomorrow, shouldn't they not?
If these questions aren't asked, neighbor, then I think we can call for a lot of media houses to just shut down and those so-called journalists go and find another work to do, because that would just be adding to what we've been saying. The art of journalism and real journalism is non-existent, and only a minute few clearly knows how to do the job of our journalists, right? And it would also speak to the fact that they're protecting the incompetence of an opposition that should be doing their job, especially protection of the incompetence of an opposition leader that's getting over $20 million a year, right?
Yes.
And if that is the case, I would say the media has just become an enemy of the people and should be dealt with in the same manner as the opposition party, right? Because clearly neither would be functioning to uphold the impacts and the duties, because they're all duty bound, you know. Right?
Yeah. Somebody's talking about the drunk lady. I wonder if they're going to be asking if the drunk was a return.
If they've cleaned up the meat.
Yeah.
But the
by the way, you remember, hold on, you remember Dayton Campbell, sir, speaking about dead bodies? Did we ever find those dead bodies? Did we ever find them?
But there's a movie called Gone Without a Trace. I guess that's what happened.
I'm going to find that clip with Dayton Campbell speaking about how much dead bodies people have been calling him about down in Westmoreland there. And I know we can't know. Why I tell you something. These people are, by the way, go ahead, you hear.
The most important thing is that we get answers to questions, because right now, the public has more. After this press conference, we're going to have even more questions, and that is a fact. Yeah. It hasn't been proven just yet, but I'm calling it as such, and I can guarantee watered down questions, a lot of things that are not in the public interest. Remember last night we said we have to speak and trust the media to do its job, to speak on what matters for the people and for the country. So as such, I wouldn't be surprised to turn up at this conference. Turn up. If you have a shout out, 2 questions, shout it out. I think a mic or 2 probably will hear you. Right? Because if that is, nobody has held them accountably just yet. The civil servants haven't done so. The civic society also haven't. Right? So is this thing of saying, listen, those who are trying to hold the opposition accountable is politically aligned. That's the agenda, you know, that's what they want to say. If a G2K, if a young Jamaica comes out and asks, remember, these are Jamaicans first. Mm-hmm. And they're politically aligned. They're asking pertinent questions. They're also making recommendations that will have an impact on the people of Jamaica. press conference. All the other press conferences that they've called are mediocrity at best. Right? We could have do without them. In fact, they've statesmanship in them. They've also shown how poor they are in addressing the people, even when being faced with riveting questions that don't drive proper discussions in advancement of Jamaica. And if the media has failed to do that tomorrow, neighbor, move on. And if it's one media host that can ask questions, load up the questions and ask, right? Because the people's concerns needs to be addressed, not applicable, right? So you're taking the people for a fool. And we will not sit and allow you to hold a press conference scandal that is happening now, that they want to protect their own at the expense of the people of Jamaica, at the expense of our democracy. I think we're going to accept, and that is why I'm very strong on this, neighbor. I'm not normally strong when it comes on to this. And if the opposition think them are going to drop the ball this time again, and twist and turn and be like Pelusi Perry, them of us not a guest cup.
The fact of the matter is that the People's National Party is getting away with too much right now, you know. The government is going to the roofs program 10 billion. They have delivered to the members of parliament millions of dollars that they can spend. They are delivering in terms of providing resources for Jamaican. Yes, and Jamaica is not a rich country. But the opposition, they launched their website, they collect their money, and we don't know yet they are going to put the government on trial tomorrow. Civil society need to turn up and ask some questions as to, no, come on. If you are asking government
there, all right, you can't do as I say and not as I do. That's not how it works. That's not governance, right? And while we know that, yes, they're naturally the ones on trial day to day, but the opposition cannot be allowed to sit down and twiddle them thumbs. People need to understand that with the numbers, I'm playing into Mark Golding's hands here. I'm giving him an opportunity which I know he can't really take. But you're now 28 strong and go to parliament and slow down a lot of the processes. You can delay a lot of things. So you also play a part in it. That the people have given them greater responsibility. Is that greater money in your pocket to sit down and twiddle more thumbs? Is it to just come and say they don't know where the opposition stands in Nara? But what has the opposition done on their own? Can't they be right? What?
Yeah.
Can they put one person up to say, yes, they've helped me fix my roof? Or one person to say yes for one? Right? They've failed to even produce one person. And that is damning. It shows that you're incompetent. The truth of the matter is, neighbor, this is the lowest level when it comes down to an opposition. And the people have to be holding the opposition. Even that, if you're hard on the opposition, they have no choice but to also be hard on the government when they face off. Right? And that is something that's missing.
We can't make them say, neighbor, we are paying them, you know. Member of Parliament's getting over $15 million. There's 28 of them. The opposition leader getting what? 25, 27 million thereabout. It's taxpayers' money. And we can't just pay people for sit down and do nothing. To come dress up in a suit and tight blouse and skirt and whatever to sit down in front of camera for a few hours. Is that good return on our money? If that is the case, we can do without an opposition. Because it's sickening to see that we're getting not even diminishing returns, but literally no returns when it comes down to proper governance from the opposition side. You can't have an opposition that contributes literally nothing. Not even a decent conversation they can't have. The conversation of the budget came up and they couldn't even stand alone. They couldn't even give Jamaica one proper recommendation. In fact, they couldn't even put a unified front together, neighbor. $70 billion in compliance, right? While the opposition finance spokesperson is saying, oh, he would have to borrow money. It's poor. It's probably one of the poorest in the region and probably in the West. And it's unacceptable for a nation that is looking to go forward, to advance themselves, and to let Jamaica rise like a phoenix from Melissa. It is not easy to see that we've lost 56% of our GDP. Yes, it doesn't feel that way, but that is the reality. We never put it back. It not replace all now, and it will take us a few years to do so. And the groundwork starts now. We don't have the best time to do anything is now. Tomorrow is not promised to each and every individual. But if we start now, it is better now than ever. And everything compounds over time. But we can't have an opposition like this that's not even pulling their own weight. And if this continues, they should return the people's taxpayers' money to them. There should be an opposition for free.
Yeah, well, okay. Listen how I'm going to ask you to end, Harry. If you, Harry Henriquez, were able to turn up at the press conference tomorrow, and you were allowed 2 questions, take your time and tell me, what would you ask the PNP?
Neighbor, you said my brain go 100, a vehicle go 180. My mind just fly faster than that. No, seriously, if you were a journalist tomorrow and you entered that room and you heard them say their piece, and it's now time for you for the reporter, the Politics Plus reporter from the Hello Neighbor show to ask the 2 questions, what would your questions be? But to be frank, I'll give them an easy one, right? And I remember I grade hard, you know. So take that with a grain of salt. But I'd want them to, and this is the basis which is coming from, because we've heard how the government would outline a plan for Jamaica. On the spot, I'll require that they provide to Jamaica a 5-point plan to advance the recovery after Melissa, the improvement of agriculture, the implementation of guardrails regarding our corruption in governance, and also and giving them all the 5 areas in a neighbor. So I'm making it easy for them if they can answer. The next one is, how do we ensure that we protect Jamaica from another catastrophe of this nature, something that has not already been implemented? So them can't tell about increased cat bond. They have to come with some ingenuity.
In other words, you would ask the PNP for the alternative governance structure that they would operate under if they were in government.
If they were in government with all things considered. Now they've had hindsight, so it should be easier than the actual government, right?
And you feel that any opposition who is the government in waiting ought to be able to tell the people how they would approach this process by now.
By now, yeah. Months. Because what you do with a question like that, neighbor, is disarm them from just lying behind criticism. It's easy to criticize, when you're not in the seat. So we've given you the opportunity with a question like that to be in the seat. You want power so much. What would you have done with it? And then what that does, neighbor, so I said if they could answer it, what that does is paint a picture of parties. And Jamaica will actually know once and for all that the opposition is not viable. Rhetorical question for my neighbor. And that's why I say it's an easy one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
do you think that this is more the Flem issue? Because the Jackden issue is a growing political firestorm, Harry. Do you think this is just more distract?
Executed this press conference thing before. Remember when the news was spreading that Dwayne Vaz was in Rumbar when Minister was in, they said stuff weren't happening after the 3 million was given to them initially. When Chris Brown said to his people that he didn't get looking to take off, because people was going to rip it to pieces, they called a press conference. It is no different now. Right? So when we look at down to the blind can see it's smoke and mirrors. It's not worth it. Right? But they open a few of our brain cells every now and again. Right? But
yeah.
It is not one I'm really looking forward to. I'm not duty, unlike the opposition. I have a duty to our neighbor, ex-neighbor, to come and deliver. And we don't shy from our duty because move forward. This is how we are. We're not getting taxpayers' money to produce this show, but we're contributing to the advance and through one listener every single time, neighbor. And I think right now we're doing way more than the opposition is doing for Jamaica. Yeah, but in all honesty, the media houses, most of them are in shambles and looking to just save face, right? Because of course, let's not fool ourselves. Political parties do fund them, and in this case, the opposition do have their surrogate action as best as possible and trying to seem neutral when they are neutral. But that is the major question I would ask them. And I see somebody say I'm nice with the question. If you're supposed to explore that question, God go with you.
I think the question about the alternative is a very good question to ask an opposition leader. They have had enough time. That's the plan.
Name but the plan watch way. The draft.
Yes.
The draft. Yeah.
They were working on a draft. The truth, I'm so proud of you. It's always so refreshing to listen to you analyze issues, and you're never out of thoughts, but we're out of time.
Again.
Reload and come again at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And at 11. Let me see what time the PNP here. By the way, today is Dr. Mavis Gallimore's birthday. 100 years old. The PNP's conference tomorrow will be 9 a.m. Wow, 9 a.m. That will be 2 hours before we get on at 8 o'clock, at 11 o'clock. I tell you what, moderator, I probably will have to negotiate with you to be on a little earlier, maybe to cover this. But I'm so proud of you, my brother Harry, and I want to thank you for the substance that you bring to the program. Okay, sir?
All right, so for giving me the platform as well in a neighbor, because they do keep we on air.
Yes.
So
yes,
we definitely have to big them up. And I think we're still on YouTube. YouTubers, we'll be giving you, will be exclusive content soon. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten. And everybody, Patreon as well. But everybody who is listening, just please go over to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, because we want to make a grand entrance over by YouTube. And not to say you can't. You can't be on both, because you definitely can, but a lot is in store for Politics Plus Network, and we're coming with a lot more things.
There you go. Say it again. Say it again. Yes.
But definitely, neighbor, we're doing a lot of work in the back end.
We are.
All right.
Yes.
And we won't preempt anything, but neighbor rights, stick with us as we stick with you. Let's grow together.
Yes.
Build Jamaica together. And who knows? Let's see where all of this takes us, right?
That's true.
A lot of great works are in the making, and we also put God first, neighbor, because we can't do anything without him.
Maybe before you were born, Harry, I don't know if you know the story of Nationwide. It's not for me to tell their story. But I don't know if you know how they started.
I don't recall it neighbor at this moment.
Well, they bought a couple of hours on Hot 102, and started there. And let me tell you something. If you know this struggle of Nationwide, there was a point when they were totally off the air. They were basically broadcasting on the RGR AM band. Yes, and look where they are today. So we thank our listeners for their continued support, and ask them to continue to sow into the program. Not true, sir?
Because the funny thing about it, neighbor, the story of the Chinese bamboo, nobody have been able to decipher whether it grew in one sprout in 5 years or if it grew over time, because it's only on the 50th year we see it break out of the soil and shoots up. And I can tell our listeners that who knows, it just might be Politics Plus Network, but again, stick with us. We stick together, we grow Jamaica. Of course, we are the ones who have conversations that matters. And these conversations are riveting, they're refreshing, and of course, they are genuine conversations surrounding Jamaica's advancement by Jamaicans for Jamaicans.
Conversations that matter, ain't so?
Definitely, neighbor. Even when nobody will have these conversations, we will. So, neighbor rights, tell a friend to tell a friend. For those who are going to church on Saturdays or on Sundays, you can tell the congregation too. Because these are conversations that families can sit and listen to.
Right. And we want them to go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so just yet, okay?